two other consultants who provide services to you. So that'll be Susan and Vanelli that will be included in this call. So, all right, thank you. I'm going to send notice out now. So I will mute my line.
Okay, having said that, since everybody's here, let's go ahead and start the meeting. Call the meeting to order. It is 9:03, January 21st. Secretary is not here to call roll. Shayna, could you call roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Jenny Moore,
Present.
Pilar Rodriguez,
Here.
Courtney Bechtel, Nathan Douglas,
Nathan Douglas, present.
Matt Glaves, Edward Keenan.
Sorry, muted here.
Great. Ed Keenan,
Here.
Jerry Romero,
Here.
Rodney Riles,
I'm here. Can you hear me?
yes, sir, and Stephanie Wagner.
Here.
All
Madam
right.
Chair, 8 board members are present and 1 is absent.
All right, we do have a quorum. Nice. Invitation for public comment. Did we have anybody sign up for public comment?
No, we did not.
All right. Item number 3, approval of the minutes from December 8th. No, everything, the board packet was sent out yesterday afternoon. I hope everybody's had time to read it. Are there any discussions or changes to the minutes? Having none, call for a motion to accept the minutes from December 8th, 2020.
I'll make a motion, Jenny.
This is Jerry. I'll second.
Motion made by Ed Keenan, second by Jerry Romero. Shayna, could you do a roll call, please?
If you are in favor of the motion, say aye. If you're opposed, say nay. Pilar Rodriguez,
Aye.
Nathan Douglas,
Aye.
Matt Glaves,
I'll abstain.
Ed Keenan,
Aye.
Jerry Romero,
Aye.
Rodney Riles,
Aye.
Stephanie Wagner.
Aye.
Madam Chair, 6 board members are in favor. 1
Motion-
board member abstained and 0 are opposed.
Nice, motion carries. Okay. Item 4, agenda item number 4 is the 87th legislative update. We're going to discuss impossible action. However, I need to remind everybody, the board and staff, that you are not allowed at all to lobby the legislature on legislation. However, they may provide technical assistance. Having said that, budget. I'm sorry, who's that?
Sorry, I muted my stuff. I got a lot of noisemakers here.
Okay. Budget hearings have not been scheduled yet, from what I understand. And having said that, I'm going to call on Chuck Campbell and Alicia Riley Garrison with Jackson Walker to brief the board on the legislative issues that may or may not arise. And Chuck, Alicia, you have the floor.
Sure, thank you. Thanks, Jenny, and hello to everyone. Chuck Campbell, Jackson Walker, and Elisa Garrison is with me as well. We were asked to provide just an update on some legislation that has been filed for this legislative session that either impacts your fund, maybe directly or indirectly. Similar to the reminder that Jenny gave, we are not lobbyists either. and do not lobby or provide any kind of legislative strategy or counsel on behalf or for the system. We're simply providing, legal analysis as to bills that have been filed and how they might impact the system. And so that's our role as your counsel from a pension perspective. First and foremost, there's really one significant resolution that's been filed that could impact TESRS. It is a resolution that has been filed. It's Senate Joint Resolution 22 filed by Senator Huffman and Senator Schwartner. It is a piece of legislation that has been filed in previous sessions, identical to it. The main intent of the joint resolution is a proposed amendment to the Texas Constitution under Section 67, Article 16, which is the section of the Constitution dealing with pension matters, or one of the sections dealing with pension matters. And it's only two sentences that are proposed to be added. Those sentences, and they read, this state is not liable for any debts or other obligations of a retirement system described by subsection C of this section. And the legislature may not appropriate money to a retirement system described by subsection C of this section or pay any debts or other obligations of the retirement system. So the big question is, okay, well, what is a retirement system described by section C in the Constitution? Subsection C references local retirement systems. It talks about retirement systems established by a city or a county. It talks about a statewide system of benefits for county and districts, i.e. the Texas County and District Retirement System. It talks about a statewide system dealing with, for cities, which is TMRS, the Texas Municipal Retirement System. But that's all that subsection C talks about. Subsection C doesn't specifically reference TESRS, but it doesn't exclude TESRS from that either. The other provisions in the Constitution that address retirement systems or statewide retirement systems, but those only address ERS and TRS, the Employee Retirement System and the Teachers Retirement System. So bottom line, it's not clear into the Constitution exactly where you all fit, whether you're a statewide retirement system or a local retirement system. So as a result, it's uncertain. There's also uncertainty as whether this provision would impact TESRS or not. Obviously, if it does impact or is intended to cover TESRS, it's problematic because it states that the legislature may not appropriate money to a system described as a local retirement system to pay any obligations of the retirement system. And as you well know, the system is appropriated money from the legislature as set forth in a state statute for that purpose. So that's kind of the big piece of legislation that's been filed that could potentially impact the system. At the legislative committee, meeting yesterday, there was discussion of the potential need to provide resources and potential education to the bill sponsors with respect to the potential impact of TESRS. Not just from a resource perspective and a reference perspective, and make awareness of that. But anyway, that's the one piece of legislation that I wanted to bring to you all's attention. There's a couple other pieces that we'll touch on briefly that don't directly impact you, but I wanted to stop there and take any questions that you all might have. Hearing none, we can move on from that piece of legislation and just.
Hey, Chuck, can I ask a question? I'm sorry. This is Kevin.
Sure.
Give a quick highlight on how a constitutional amendment works. Just if that bill passes, what the process would be, please.
Sure. And Dave, you may have to correct me where I go astray here, but bottom line, the bill, even once it passes, it still needs to be approved and submitted to the voters of Texas in an election. The bill says that election is going to be held November 2nd of 2021. and there's specific ballot language that is included in the joint resolution that'll be sent to the voters as well. So even if this is passed, it still needs to be approved by the voters, by the citizens of Texas to become a constitutional amendment. But in terms of the process, the Senate resolution will be sent to committees of the House and Senate, likely State Affairs Committee, I would imagine, in the Senate, and it may be referred to pensions in the House, presumably, and before going to back to the floors for approval. But that's the kind of the regular legislative process. As I stated, this bill or a version of this bill has been filed, I believe, the last 2 legislative sessions at least. And the intent, as I've understand it, it's really focused on the city plans, the large city plans that had funding issues. And there was some, because those city plans, their plan provisions are in state statute. There were some, and because of some other language in another constitutional provision, there were some questions as to the state might ultimately be on the hook for, the city plans in Houston, Dallas, Austin, Fort Worth. And so that's what this is, as I understand the intent from historical knowledge, that's the intent of this. And TESRS was not considered or is not a consideration specifically, as I'm aware of it, in this piece. So.
I have a question. This is Jerry. This is more to Kevin or Jenny. Maybe you can help me in regards to this. The total amount that we receive from the state is that basically all to cover shortfalls from the pension plan, or is it also for administrative expenses?
This is Kevin. So we received two sources of funding from the state. We receive approximately $750,000 a year for administration. That comes out of general revenue. But the money that the state provides us, anytime the pension system has a funding period in excess of 30 years, then the state is required to contribute up to 1/3 of the contributions that we receive. And so I believe the amount this past year, Wayne may have the number, but it's been about $1.3 million a year, approximately.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so with that, I'll just bring up a couple of other items or issues that are of note, and just something to be aware of, that you all might be aware of and follow, and just in case there's some developments as the session progresses. One of them is having to do with Open Meetings Act requirements. Obviously, due to the pandemic, there's been a lot of quick adaptation in terms of how open meetings are conducted from virtually, remotely, and those kind of technological advances and kind of the flexibility and effectiveness that those might find themselves into Open Meetings Act. For example, there's been a bill filed that would require for large state agencies streaming of meetings, and even for smaller agencies, a recording of meetings that need to be provided for the public. So anyway, there's been wouldn't it be appropriate, as I'm talking about the technological advances for open meetings, that I get cut off immediately? So anyway, so that's something to just be cognizant of, and I'm sure David will advise you of any changes that you're required to satisfy with respect to those if and once they're passed. But it's something to be aware of. The second piece of it is there are some legislations not dealing with pensions, but dealing with other types of obligations and benefits for public safety workers, and an idea that a a death or disability that's related to COVID or some other disease or pandemic that's been treated as a disaster could provide a presumption for a line of duty death or disability. Again, these bills have not been in the specific pension realm, and certainly don't apply to your system directly. But for all retirement systems, if this type of idea comes into play of a presumption of a line of duty or during employment, death or disability that comes from COVID, that's just something to be cognizant of and aware of as well. So anyway, those are two other issues or items that I think you might see some development on that would be of interest to you moving forward. But like I said, the Senate Joint Resolution was the primary reason for our report today.
Good. And if I could, Madam Chair, one thing, I haven't seen any bills yet, but there's been a concerted effort at the federal level by President Trump and that administration, at least, regarding investments in certain companies doing business with the Chinese military. And some of these funds have been delisted from certain indexes. And I would expect that, we need to keep your eye on those sort of bills during the session. We have certain prohibitions against investments in companies that do boycott Israel and things like this. But that I would not be surprised if you saw some sort of legislation dealing with certain Chinese investments. So
We'll get with ANCO and see how much exposure we have at this point. That'll be for the ED. Okay.
That's the conclusion of my report.
Good report. Thanks, Chuck. Alicia, is there anybody have any questions for these guys? Having none, thank you guys. I appreciate it. We'll keep in touch.
Okay, see you all.
Okay, so at this time, what I would like to do is we're going to jump to special session items 7 and 8, which means we are going to be going into closed session. Kevin has sent out an email as to how we're going to do this. Right now it is 9:20. The TESRS board will now go into closed session for 2 items on the agenda. First, we will go into closed session pursuant to the Texas Government Code, Section 551.076, to discuss the use of cybersecurity measures associated with the system's electronic information related to Agenda Item 7. Secondly, we will discuss personnel matters related to Agenda Item 8 in accordance with Texas Government Code Section 551.074. At the end of the closed session, the board will reconvene in open session on the same Zoom meeting. I would like all system trustees to mute their microphones and turn off your video at this time. You have the email from Kevin to go to the next meeting. Well, David's back. Participants. Okay. Did Matt make it back with us yet?
He has not.
Which background do y'all prefer? My fire trucks or my office?
You know, I kind of like the fire truck, Nathan. That's cool. I'm gonna change mine every month.
Yeah.
Matt is back. Okay. It is 10:01. We are back in session with the open meeting. Let's move to agenda item number 8, the announcement of the resignation of executive director and appointment of interim director. Discussion and possible action from Kevin. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I submitted my resignation effective last Thursday, January the 14th. I made a decision a couple of weeks before that it's time for me to retire. And it was, and I've appreciated working for you. I worked for the state of Texas for 32 something years. I worked for the state of New Mexico for 3 years. So, I was thinking the other day that when I went to work for the state, the conservatives running the states were Democrats, and I used one of my most effective tools were carbon paper. So times have changed, and so I appreciate working for you. You have a really interesting program. The thing that's kind of good about what we do is that we have that firefighter that joins our system today. You may be writing a pension to that person in 2085. We're a payroll system. There's a certain rhythm about it. And so, it's just one day at a time. And I wish you all the best. And I appreciate the support that you have given me. And it's been an honor to work for you and for the firefighters of the state of Texas. So thank you.
Kevin, it has been an honor and a pleasure to work with you. We've had a lot of work that we've done in the past. You have huge shoes that will be needed to be filled, and you will be missed. You've spent a lot of time doing state public work. I appreciate it. I appreciate your work, and more so your friendship. Shirley, do you have anything for Kevin?
Yes. Within the last week, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. I've really appreciated, Kevin returning to TESRS, to this fund, because it was a real shot in the arm, and I think it was something that we needed. And he's made some really good changes. Processes. We've done a lot of work with our rules that I think that we needed at the time. And in talking with Adrienne Cabrera from the governor's office here this week, and with her taking her lead, I have I don't know if I can see this. I know you can't read it, but it does have his name on it. And it's, I will read it. The state of Texas, it's from the governor's office. To all whom these presents shall come, greetings. Know ye that this official recognition is presented to Kevin Dieters, Texas Emergency Services Retirement System. Congratulations on your well-deserved retirement after over 32 years of service to the people of Texas. Public service is an honor, for its foundation is in the public trust. Daily, state employees earn this trust, demonstrating dependability, initiative, and wise stewardship of public resources. Their endless dedication highlights that this state's greatest asset lies with the people who call it home. I commend you for your many contributions and unwavering commitment to the Lone Star State, highlighted by your years of dedicated service as the Executive Director for the Texas Emergency Services Retirement System.
Oh, that's very nice. Thank you to the governor and Adrian, and thank you all. Appreciate that.
And I'm not going to keep it, Kevin. I will get it to you. Like,
Keep it.
I will get it to you.
Now what I would like to do is call for a motion regarding the appointment of the interim director.
Madam Chair, I'll move that we appoint Shirley Hayes as the interim executive director effective January 14th, 2021 at a salary of $100,000 per year.
I'll second that motion.
We get a second? Steph? Was that,
Either.
did you say?
I think I'd said it simultaneously. It's whatever. Either it's great.
Shayna, could you do a roll call, please?
Pilar Rodriguez,
Aye.
Nathan Douglas,
Aye.
Matt Glaves,
Good at lip reading. I think he said aye, but he's nodding his head yes.
Ed Keenan,
Aye.
Jerry Romero,
Aye.
Rodney Riles,
Aye.
Stephanie Wagner.
Aye.
Madam Chair, 7 board members are in favor of the motion and 0 are opposed.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. Agenda, any more discussion on this while we're in this agenda item?
I just want to say
None?
thank you to I want to say thank you to the board and again to Kevin for the opportunity. I mean, I think this is it's an important time. It's our busiest season and we've got terrific staff that know what they're doing. So still, I do appreciate your confidence. Thank you.
I know you'll do a good job. Agenda item number 9. I'm going to appoint a hiring committee. And on that committee, it will be Pilar, Matt Glaves, and myself. And we need to discuss a schedule as far as what we are going to do as a hiring committee. First, we need to discuss a salary range. We need to come up with what it is that a new E. My plan is to have committee meeting, come up with these ideas, and bring it, unless we have board approval, go to the post the job for however long the committee would like, bring back to vet the potential candidates, and bring back a candidate back to the board in March, and have a new ED by April. If that's what I see happening, unless somebody has a better idea or thought process. And if we need to bump this up faster, and I don't think we need to, we will have committee meetings and we will keep the board apprised. We do have the option to have an emergency meeting if so needed. I don't see where that's going to be an issue at this point. So my plan is for the next board meeting, hopefully we will have candidates to bring before the board, and then the board can make a decision the following March, or maybe, no, there's no way we can do it in March. After we post, get the applications, vet them, bring it before the board. March, I see the board making a decision on which ED, and we'll have them in place by April. Kevin, does that sound like a reasonable schedule?
Well, Madam Chair, I really have a lack of interest.
That's right. You don't work. No.
If you say it's good, I think it's wonderful.
Well, all righty then. Then, having said that, is there any other concerns or anything that the board has for this process?
Madam Chair, this is Jerry. I have a question. In regards to the process itself, when your committee comes up with a number of candidates, were you planning to present those candidates to the full board as far as the finalists are concerned, or will you be bringing back just one candidate to the board?
All likelihood, I would like to see 2 to 3 people to bring back before the board and have the board make a decision on interview and discuss with those the 3 candidates. 2 to 3. I don't want to bring everybody. No, my thought process is you're a committee, you let the committee do what they need to do and bring the top 2 to 3 towards the board. We'll do the hard work and then y'all make the decision. How's that?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'll add also that the full system members will have the opportunity, if they want, to interview those top candidates in a closed session, if that's the preference of the agency.
Yes. Thank you. Anything else? Okay, so let's back up and go back to agenda item number 5. We will have the interim director's report.
Thank you. This will be just a brief overview of what we have on our plate as an agency first, and then I will brief you on the revocation of Lucas Fire and Rescue. I think that you're aware, this is, our legislative session has started and we're tracking committees, we're tracking legislation. Appreciate Chuck and Elisa and their guidance. I think that we have, thanks to Kevin, we've got some updated presentation materials to prepare us for these for the committees. We also I guess after this meeting, the evaluation committee for the respondents for the actuarial audit, we will meet and discuss our evaluations of 3 proposals, and that will come back to the board for the candidates, top candidates will come back to the board in the February 18th meeting for the board to make a selection for that contract. February is our busy month with reporting from our participating departments. Local boards will be very busy in February. They have several things that they need to do in their posted meetings. And we've been working with participating departments to ensure that we can that they can do what they need to do and that they can submit their reports timely. But it's just always a very busy season. We will be doing the semi-annual billing, the MRR, the membership reconciliation report will go out. That's really a pre-bill. It shows who do we have as members from your department. The chief and the local board will work together to be sure that that's right. And they need to certify that report and send it back to us by February 23rd. They will also report qualified service on their annual reports. All of this will be coming out of the system, out of toll. They'll also review the TESRS security policy that they're required to do annually, and they will name their authorized users for system access to see their department's information in the system. So that's really what's going to be on the forefront for the agency. And I'll be working with Wayne and keep Jenny in the loop with regard to committee hearings and things that will be coming up shortly. In your board meeting materials, I've included some information about the revocation of participation that Lucas Fire Rescue just recently completed. I will tell you that it was a very smooth process, and believe me, it was to the credit of a woman that had been working there for a few years that was very meticulous and very easy to work with, as well as her passing information along to the local board. The amendment, the revocation amendment that's in there, that's really like a closeout amendment to their participation. Much of that amendment is all based within the rule. That I also have the determination letter that was prepared by Red and Wisdom with regard to their revocation charge, $61,226, which they paid in full. And then the certification of their roster, that's required in the rule and by the local board. That certification was done, and so their final contributions were paid in full. And those were the contributions from September through December. Jessica will be working going forward with the requirements that we have to complete as an agency with calculating the retained benefit for the affected members that have less than 10 years, and working with getting communication, getting letters to the affected members with regards to this benefit and any impact that the revocation may have had for vested members and for retirees. That's it. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
So Lucas is out. They have paid everything they need to pay. They've paid the actuarial amounts. They're done.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, Shirley?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Action, item number 6. This will be audited financial statement presentation by Wayne.
Good morning, Madam Chair and board. On December the 18th, Weaver and Tidwell issued their audit opinion for our fiscal year 2020 financial report. It was an unqualified or clean opinion. On page 20 of your board binder book starts Weaver's letter that you can read there. The opinion is actually found on page 21. At the same time, after the opinion was issued, the report was distributed to state leadership and oversight agencies as per the reporting requirements. There was one item found and was issued on what they call the Generally Accepted Government Auditing Standards, or GAGA's report, that pertained to some payroll expenses that were underreported in FY 2019. So it looked like it was overreported in FY 20, but across the 2 years, it balances out. So they say that there was no issue found, and just want us to strengthen our control over financial reporting. And I have implemented a new process that our internal accounting system, MIP, will be reconciled to the statewide accounting system, or USAS, on at least a quarterly basis, so that any errors like that are found in the current fiscal year.
Wayne, can you go into a little more detail on exactly what the error was? And
We had recorded payroll differently than the way the statewide accounting system posted it. So it looked like in FY 2019, there was only 11 months worth of salary expense instead of 12. And in FY 2020, it looks like there was 13 months posted versus 12. So like I said, over that 2-year period, it balances out.
So
it was
Wayne,
just a date.
the
A
correct,
date thing.
so Wayne, basically the correcting entry that was made in 20 to correct it, it was an issue with correcting entries and their timing. Is that basically not it?
Correct. It was a timing issue is what they call it. Excuse me.
Nothing nefarious. It just didn't look good. I mean, it just looked weird on the books.
It looked weird on the books.
Okay.
And then, of course, Rebecca Goldstein with Weaver will be at the February meeting and can give y'all more information. But both reports are included in your board binder.
Thank you for the overview and a clean audit report. Appreciate it. That is huge. That is huge. Anybody have any questions for Wayne? Or Wayne, do you have more?
I'm good.
Anybody have any questions for Wayne? Nope, nope, nope. Then we move on to agenda item number 10. Request for agenda items and meeting date.
Madam Chair, Madam Chair, this is Jerry. Do we need to vote on the financials, the audited financials?
No, it was just an audit report.
Okay.
No, it was just an audit report. There's nothing to vote on. Okay, item 10. Future agenda items and meeting dates, February 18th. Interview with the actuarial audit firms and award a contract. We have contract extensions for Denham Group and Lauterbach and Ammon. March 18th, investment performance review and possible vetting for ED. April 15th. Are we having a meeting on April 15th? Actuarial audit presentation and possible new ED. So we've got a full agenda. Try to keep these meetings as quick and painless as possible. However, we have a job to do. We've got a lot of committees that are out there doing things. We do have a legislative committee that was appointed. That would be Ed Keenan, Rodney Ryle, and Nathan Douglas is on the legislative committee. So I think everybody is now on a committee and some are doing double duty, but it's what we do. We have a lot of work to do this year. Does anybody have any requests for future agenda items? Jerry, no?
Madam Chair, when y'all ever have a real meeting again in Austin, invite me to dinner. Let's all get together and have dinner.
I think the rule is you're retired, you invite us. We're still working.
That's even a better deal. Okay. Well, we gotta end this social distancing thing.
Yeah.
It's killing us. So,
Everybody mask up, get your shot, stay safe so we can meet in person. I would like to shake hands with some of these new guys and some of the old guys. Shirley, do you have anything that you want to add to the agenda or?
No, I think that, we're having meetings, every 4 weeks that kind of crowds. I think that if we were having an in-person meeting, it would be a long day to consolidate some of the agenda items. But as we go through February and with legislative committee and with the hiring committee, then there may be items that will come to that February and March, obviously the March meeting. So.
And possibly February on the hiring committee as well. Okay. Having said that, Kevin, gonna miss your face at the next meeting. But you can come on in. You just can't participate. You won't, but you could. Can
no,
I get a go ahead.
What you want from your executive directors is for them to go away so that the new and the interim can blame me for everything, and it is my fault. And so there you go.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin, for everything.
Yes, thank you, Kevin.
And best of luck.
Ditto, Kevin. Thank
Kevin.
you. Agreed. Best of luck, Kevin. Enjoy your retirement.
Yes, enjoy your retirement.
I know he will. All right. Having said that, can I get a motion to adjourn this meeting?
A motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second
Stephanie,
that.
second from whom?
Ed,
Ed Keenan. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Bye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.
You'll have a great weekend. Thank you.
Take care.
Okay.
Thanks,
Everyone.
everybody.
Thanks.